Right now, in the skies above Ukraine, something is hunting. It doesn't need sleep. It doesn't feel fear. And most importantly, it doesn't always need a human to tell it who to kill.
Hey, these are AI-powered drones, and they're changing warfare forever. The numbers are staggering. Take between 70 and 80% of all deaths in the Russia-Ukraine war are caused by drones.
Ukraine alone built 2 million drones last year and plans to produce 5 million this year. But this isn't just about Ukraine. From Washington to Beijing, from Tel Aviv to Moscow, every major military power on Earth is racing to build smarter, deadlier autonomous weapons. And the question keeping world leaders awake at night is simple. Who is going to win this race? And what happens to the rest of us when they do? To understand what we're really talking about, let's break it down. An autonomous weapon is a machine that can find a target, decide to attack it, and kill it without a human pressing a button for each step, using cameras, sensors, and artificial intelligence. These weapons can identify enemy soldiers or tanks, track them across a battlefield, and make the final decision to fire. Some still have a human watching and approving, others don't. The scary part. This technology already exists, and it's being used right now in active war zones. This matters because throughout history, whoever had the best weapons usually won the war. Gunpowder ended the age of knights in armor. Machine guns made old-fashioned charges across open ground suicidal. Nuclear weapons became so powerful that using them meant destroying yourself too, which actually prevented World War III. Now, artificial intelligence is the new game changer, and unlike nukes, you don't need a massive industrial complex to build it. You need smart programmers, good cameras, and the willingness to let machines make life and death decisions. Here's what makes this different and more dangerous. This technology is developing faster than anything we've seen before. A drone that seemed cutting edge 6 months ago is already outdated. And here's the real problem. There's no international treaty stopping this. No global agreement saying certain things are off limits. Countries are developing these weapons in secret, testing them in real combat, and learning how to make them better at killing. At a recent conference in Vienna, Austria's foreign minister said, "We're facing the Oppenheimer moment of our generation," comparing this to when scientists first split the atom and created nuclear weapons. Just like Robert Oppenheimer watched his creation change the world forever. We're now watching artificial intelligence reshape how wars are fought and how people die. The question isn't whether this will change everything. It already has. The question is whether we can control it before it's too late. If you want to see the future of warfare, look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. Since Russia invaded in February 2022, this conflict has become the world's first full-scale war, where drones aren't just a support tool, they're the main weapon. Ukraine did something no country had ever done before. They created an entire military branch just for drones, called the Unmanned Systems Forces. Think about that. Drones are so important they get their own branch of the military, just like the Army, Navy, or Air Force. The production numbers sound like science fiction. Ukraine went from making 20,000 drones per month in early 2024 to 200,000 per month by the end of the year. That's 10 times more in just 12 months. But it's not just about making more drones. It's about making them smarter. Ukrainian engineers developed drones that use artificial intelligence throughout their entire flight, not just at the last second before they hit something. These drones can recognize what they're looking at, whether it's a tank, a truck, or a soldier. They can adjust their flight path if the target moves. And that's the crucial part. They can do all of this even when the Russians jam their signals or cut off their GPS. The results speak for themselves. Adding AI increased Ukraine's accuracy from about 30 to 50%, up to 80%. That means 8 out of 10 drones now hit what they're aiming at. Russia tried to fight back with electronic warfare, essentially trying to blind the drones or cut the connection between the drone and its operator. So Ukraine adapted again. They built drones that can see and think for themselves using neural networks. The same technology that powers ChatGPT or facial recognition on your phone. In December 2024, something historic happened near the town of Lipsy. Ukrainian forces launched the world's first completely unmanned ground attack. Robot vehicles with machine guns and explosives supported by drones in the air attacked Russian positions. No human soldiers participated in the actual fighting. The robots advanced, fought, and came back. Humans just watched from a distance. But there's a dark side to all this efficiency. In one battle for the city of Chasiv Yar, 90% of wounded Ukrainian soldiers arriving at medical stations had been hit by drones. The same is true for Russian soldiers. And here's what should worry everyone. Ukraine isn't developing this technology alone. Western companies are helping them and learning from every battle. Every engagement generates data that makes the next generation of AI weapons smarter and deadlier. Russia noticed. In December 2024, Moscow announced they recreating their own drone branch and committing to produce 1.4 million drones in 2025. The Ukrainian battlefield has become a laboratory, and the lessons learned there are spreading to every military force in the world. Let's talk about who's really winning this race. The United States has the biggest, most advanced military on the planet, and they're pouring money into keeping it that way. The Pentagon currently has over 800 active AI projects running right now. Their budget for AI jumped from $600 million in 2016 to $1.8 billion in 2024. That's triple the investment in less than a decade. American achievements are impressive. U.S. Navy unmanned boat successfully fired live rockets at a target without any human telling it exactly what to do. The military is testing armed robot dogs in the Middle East through something called Project Maven. Military operators can now approve up to 80 targets per hour using AI recommendations. That's nearly 3 times faster than doing it manually. But America has a problem China doesn't have. Democracies, tech companies have to worry about public opinion and backlash. When OpenAI reversed its ban on military work to partner with the Pentagon in early 2024, it sparked massive controversy. American development is fast, but it's also careful and debated publicly. Now let's look at China, the competitor that genuinely worries American military planners. China's government declared AI a strategic priority back in 2017 and called it a focal point of international competition. They're spending an estimated $330 to $450 billion on defense in 2024, huge portions going to AI research. China is developing autonomous submarines, electromagnetic weapons, advanced facial recognition, and drone swarm technology designed to overwhelm enemy defenses. At military drills in Cambodia, China showed off robot dogs, the same technology the US was still testing months later. Here's China's advantage. Their defense sector is run by the state. They can integrate new AI technology rapidly without worrying about shareholders, public protests, or ethical debates slowing them down. Bloomberg reported in 2024 that China could have fully autonomous AI weapons on the battlefield within 2 years. But it's not just about better weapons for China. According to military analysts, China sees AI as a way to think faster than human commanders. They want to turn warfare into a battle of algorithms, where victory goes to whoever can analyze threats and make decisions at computer speed, not human speed. Then there's Israel, and this is where things get controversial. Israel has been building autonomous weapons since the 1990s. Their Harpy missile can hunt and destroy enemy radar systems completely on its own once it's launched. But Israel's recent use of AI in Gaza has shocked the world. Israeli media investigations revealed that the military deployed multiple AI targeting systems. One called the Gospel automatically reviews surveillance footage and recommends buildings to bomb. Another called Lavender analyzed the entire population of Gaza and flagged 37,000 Palestinians as suspected militants, rating each person from 1 to 100 based on how likely the AI thought they were affiliated with Hamas. A third system called DAT, where SDaddy tracked these targets and sent alerts when they entered their family homes, where they'd be easier to find. According to 6 Israeli intelligence officers who spoke anonymously, the military relied almost completely on these systems during the first weeks of the war. Officers would spend as little as 20 seconds reviewing each AI-generated target, just long enough to confirm the person was male before approving strikes. The system reportedly accepted 15 to 20 civilian deaths for a single low-ranking militant and over 100 civilian casualties for high-ranking commanders. Israel's military disputes many of these claims, saying AI doesn't replace human decision-making. But human rights organizations are alarmed, and the UN Secretary General said he was deeply troubled. One professor stated bluntly, "This is an AI-assisted genocide." Meanwhile, Russia is playing catch-up but learning fast. They announced serial production of a land robot called Marker, equipped with anti-tank missiles and drone capabilities. Russia is also rapidly scaling up production of fiber-optic controlled drones that can't be jammed by electronic warfare. In Europe, the European Union committed €1.5 billion through 2027 for defense. Innovation including AI, countries like Estonia and Germany are developing unmanned vehicles and AI-equipped drones, with thousands delivered to Ukraine. But overall, Europe remains behind the US and China in capability and spending. On December 2, 2024, the United Nations General Assembly voted on a resolution about lethal, autonomous weapon systems. 166 countries voted in favor. Only 3 voted against: Russia, North Korea, and Belarus. The message was crystal clear. Almost the entire world wants these weapons regulated. But wanting regulation and actually achieving it are completely different things. The international community is split on what to do. Some countries, backed by human rights groups, want a total ban. They want a treaty that says machines can never be allowed to make the decision to kill a human being, period. Others, including the United States, argue that bans are unrealistic and won't work. They say it's better to create ethical guidelines and ensure responsible development while maintaining military advantages over rivals like China. We've faced this dilemma before. During the Cold War, nations debated whether to ban nuclear weapons. That debate still continues today, even though 9 countries now have nuclear arsenals. But autonomous weapons are actually harder to control than nukes, for several reasons. First, you can develop and test them in secret. Nuclear weapons leave radiation signatures that satellites can detect. AI weapons don't. Second, the technology advances so fast that any regulations risk being outdated before they're even implemented. Building these weapons is much easier than building nukes. You don't need uranium enrichment facilities. You need programmers, sensors, and manufacturing capability that many countries already have. Fourth, the same AI that powers weapons also has civilian uses, making it nearly impossible to ban development or control exports. Critics raise serious concerns that should worry everyone. There's something called automation bias, where humans tend to just trust what the computer recommends without properly checking if it's right. There's the black box problem, where AI makes decisions based on patterns that even the programmers can't fully understand or explain. There's the accountability gap. When an autonomous weapon kills the wrong person, who's responsible? The programmer who wrote the code? The officer who deployed it? The algorithm itself? And there's the speed problem. These weapons can act faster than humans can react, potentially triggering situations where machine decisions force human hands before anyone has time to think. Human Rights Watch warns these systems could make mass killing a mechanized, almost effortless process. The International Red Cross emphasizes that international law requires human judgment in life and death decisions, something that's increasingly absent. But military strategists have a different fear. They fear falling behind. Political scientists Graham Allison and Henriette Kissinger wrote shortly before Kissinger died that never in history has a great power feared a competitor might get a new dangerous technology and then chosen not to develop that technology themselves. If China deploys fully autonomous weapons and America doesn't, does the US lose its ability to defend itself and its allies? If one side can process battlefield information and respond at machine speed, can the other side afford to keep humans in the decision-making loop and accept being slower? This is the nightmare at the heart of this race. The pressure to develop these weapons may be greater than the wisdom of developing them. Countries feel they have no choice but to build weapons they know might be too dangerous to control. So what does the near future actually look like? By the end of 2025, Ukraine expects to deploy real drone swarms. Not just lots of individual drones, but large groups of autonomous drones that operate together as a team. These swarms will share information with each other in real time, adapt their tactics based on what they encounter, and coordinate attacks without humans controlling each individual drone. Russia is racing to match these capabilities. The United States military is working to integrate AI across every type of warfare: air, sea, land, space, and cyber. They're building decision support systems that can recommend actions across vast areas like the Indo-Pacific, regions so huge that human planners simply can't process all the information fast enough to keep up. China continues advancing rapidly. U.S. intelligence officials warn that Beijing may significantly increase military threats in the Indo-Pacific by 2027 or even sooner. Here's what we're likely to see in the next few years. It's fully autonomous targeting systems that can identify and attack threats across entire regions without humans, proving individual strikes. Human just sets the rules of engagement. Like destroy any enemy tanks entering this zone, and the AI executes everything else. Drone swarms that coordinate attacks, adapt to whatever defenses they encounter, and operate even when communications are jammed. AI-powered electronic warfare systems that react faster than human operators to enemy countermeasures. Autonomous ships and submarines patrolling vast ocean areas. Identifying threats and responding without waiting for orders from distant commanders. But here's what should really worry us. As these systems become more capable and widespread, they'll also become more accessible to smaller countries, terrorist groups, and non-state actors. The technology isn't secret anymore. The same AI that powers military weapons, things like facial recognition, computer vision, and machine learning, is available commercially to anyone. Combine that with commercial drones you can buy online, 3D printed components, and you have the recipe for democratized automated killing. We're not talking about major militaries anymore. We're talking about anyone with technical skills and bad intentions. One thing seems absolutely certain. This race isn't slowing down. The combination of countries competing against each other. Technology advancing rapidly. Real-world lessons being learned on battlefields like Ukraine means we've crossed a point of no return. The question isn't whether AI will transform warfare. It already has. Ukrainian and Russian soldiers are dying from AI-powered drones right now as you watch this. The question is whether humanity can guide how this technology develops, or whether the technology will advance faster than our ability to control it. And based on everything we've seen, the honest answer is troubling. The technology is already moving faster than international law, faster than ethical debates, faster than regulation. Every month, these weapons get smarter, cheaper, and easier to build. Every battle in Ukraine teaches the AI more about how to kill effectively. Every advancement by one country pressures all the others to catch up or fall behind. We're in a race where the finish line keeps moving further away, and the stakes keep getting higher. The weapons being tested today in Ukraine will be obsolete in 2 years, replaced by systems we can barely imagine now. And unlike nuclear weapons, which required massive infrastructure and left obvious signatures, these weapons can be developed in ordinary tech labs and tested in secret. The genie is already out of the bottle. The only question now is whether we can teach it some rules before it's too late. So after everything we've covered, who's actually winning this race? The honest answer is complicated. The United States has the most money, the most advanced technology overall, and the biggest military infrastructure in the world. American AI weapons are sophisticated, and their research is extensive. But the US also moves slower because of public debate, ethical concerns, and the complexities of democratic decision-making. China has major advantages in speed and scale. Their government can make decisions and deploy new technology rapidly without worrying about public opinion or democratic oversight. Many military analysts believe China will have fully autonomous weapons in active combat before America does. Israel has more real-world combat experience using AI-assisted targeting than anyone else. They've pushed the boundaries of what's actually deployed on battlefields. Though this has come with serious ethical controversies, in Ukraine and Russia, their war has become the world's largest testing ground, providing invaluable data that's shaping the next generation of these weapons for everyone. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Measuring who's ahead might matter less than recognizing that everyone is moving in the same direction, toward a future where machines decide who lives and dies. The international community sees the danger clearly. Those 166 countries that voted for unregulation aren't naive. They understand what's coming, but understanding danger and preventing it are entirely different challenges. The scientists writing the code, the programmers building the systems, the soldiers using them in combat, most of them aren't trying to create a nightmare future. They're responding to real threats, real tactical needs, real strategic pressures. We may be at a similar moment to what Robert Oppenheimer faced after the first nuclear test. He understood he'd created something that couldn't be uninvented. We're at that point with autonomous weapons. The technology exists, The knowledge of how to build these systems is spreading. The military advantages they offer are too significant for any nation to simply ignore. But we still have choices. Not whether to develop these technologies, perhaps, but how we develop them. What safeguards we build in, what lines we refuse to cross, what level of human control we insist on maintaining. Some countries are making those choices through international agreements. Universities and companies are drawing lines about what military AI research they'll support. The race for autonomous weaponry is real and intensifying. The technology is advancing faster than most people realize. That drone flying over Ukraine right now, making split-second decisions about life and death, it's not the future of warfare, it's the present. The question now is whether we'll look back on this moment and say we made the right choices, or whether we'll recognize it as the point when we let the machines decide for us.